Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
So I got 3 fingers up for those of you listening on audio only. Why do I have 3 fingers up? Any ideas? Because there are 3 words that matter. If you read the title of today's show, you'll get the cheat sheet. Total freaking personnel warfare. Okay, that's 4 words. I threw a freaking in there, but it really doesn't count. Total personnel warfare. Total personnel warfare. That's all that matters. If you don't understand the government isn't policy. Yes, it is. We live in a constitutional republic. It's funny. You really believe that? A constitutional republic is a suggestion if people don't enforce it, right? People are policy. You get constitutionalists and conservatives in there, you got a constitutional republic. You get Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and the commies in there, you have a suggestion of a constitutional republic. Sorry. Total personnel warfare. Everybody has to go. If you were involved in the tyranny of the last 4 disgusting years of Biden or the prior 8 of Obama, you got to go if you said nothing. Very sorry, Jack, or Margaret, or Karen, or whatever your name is. Bongino Army also in the chat. Are we ready for Kash Patel? Orders have been given from the top. We got Secretary Hegseth through. We got Sean Duffy's getting through today, Department of Transportation. Scott Besson's through with Treasury. Kristi Noem's through with DHS. Mission in that part accomplished. The mission isn't accomplished, however. Kash Patel, we got to get it done. No time for popping the bubbly. Get it done. We are the Bongino Army, the most powerful force in the magosphere. There is no second place. There's only us. Get it done. Get it done. We got a lot to talk about today. Came out a little hot. By the way, new shirt available. As always, all of my proceeds go to charity, so it's for a good cause. Liberation Day, 1/20/2025. Available at store.bongino.com. I'm wearing the shirt right now. Liberation Day is here. Donald Trump has declared it. Liberation Day, a quasi-national holiday. Liberation Day is here. You want the shirt? You want to rep the cause? Store.bongino.com. All right, we got a lot going on today, including a big congratulations for my my partner in Bongino Inc., the great Evita Duffy. We'll get to that in a minute. Hey, remember when the internet was a place you could go to be free? Unfortunately, now many of us go online knowing we're being constantly tracked. Your internet service provider can see your entire browsing history. And in the U.S., they're legally allowed to take this information and sell it to other third parties. That's why I use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is a virtual private network that reroutes 100% of my online activity through a secure, encrypted set of servers, shielding it from the prying eyes of my internet service provider and other third parties. ExpressVPN also hides my IP address. That's the number that identifies me on the internet. It means data brokers can't track me. I don't want them tracking me. It's my privacy. It takes just one tap to connect. Works on all your devices, can be used on up to 8 devices at once, which is more than enough to protect everyone under your roof. So if you want to return to the good old days of online privacy and freedom, get ExpressVPN. You can use my special link to get 4 extra months of ExpressVPN for free at expressvpn.com/Bongino. That's EXPRESS, expressvpn.com/Bongino. All right, fellas, ring that bell if you would. Total personnel warfare is here. But first, a big thank you to you. Guys, I love to celebrate success because I'm a freaking entrepreneur and I believe in merit, and I'm so proud of what we put together. Not I, we. I can't do jack shit without you guys. Triton did their 2024 review of the whole podcast space. You'll see Dan Bongino Show finished as the number 6 podcast of the year. Thank you very much. But forget about me. This isn't about me. This is about celebrating someone. I've got a good eye for talent, man, and I knew I was right. The number 1 podcast debut of 2024, drum roll please, is Bongino Report Early Edition with Evita Duffy. Congratulations, Bongino Army, on making Evita Duffy the biggest launch of 2024 on the Bongino Report. What is it? Rumble.com/ Bongino Report. You can go there, watch every morning, 9 o'clock. Evita Duffy, thank you for making us the biggest launch out there with Evita. You all are wonderful. Bongino Army, you guys are the best. Okay, getting back to the show. Total personnel warfare. Folks, this show is always a week or 2 weeks or sometimes months ahead of the news cycle. Why? Because we're not liberal media morons and we just process information. There's nothing special about what we do. We read, we process, we deliver to you in digestible forms. We told you a couple of weeks ago, or actually right after the election, that cutesy time was over and that the only way to change the government was going to be to change the people. We can change the policy later, but we already have a constitutional framework to operate on. It just takes people that respect it. So I said, we've got to get rid of everyone. As you can see by this tweet by the great Julie Kelly, Politico, I'm putting up her tweet to give her some recognition rather than Politico because I can't stand them. But Politico is reporting that, quote, fear is gripping the Department of Justice. Yes. As Trump's new appointees waste no time purging the agency of rotten apples, quote, firing at least a dozen who worked on 2 criminal cases against him. Ladies and gentlemen, if there was ever, you know what's coming? What's coming? Does anybody know? You ever see the Bruce Lee movies where after he kicks your ass and he punches you, he stops and flexes the biceps in the pose and he makes the face, he goes, whoa. You ever see that? You know what I'm talking about, right? He bought me Karate Man. Apparently Karate Man is a Yu-Gi-Oh thing, too. Karate Man. If there was ever a Karate Man, it's here. Folks, listen, Langsdorff, Trump ain't fucking around. I don't know when you in the media and you clowns on the left and you, oh, look at that, Karate Man, Karate Man, blowing up the chat again with Karate Man. Of course, a couple of people put a couple of Rock'em Sock'ems in there, too. That's appropriate, too. Rock'em Sock'ems. We have the Donald Trump Rock'em Sock because I broke the actual thing. We have liberal screaming Karen or Margaret Rock'em Sock. These things don't break, man. Damn it. The ring broke. But these suckers are robust, man. The Rock'em Sock'ems. Yes. This is how we fix this place. You are not going to fix shit if we do what we did in 2016, where we change a bunch of policies and laws and then get a bunch of people in there who want to slow walk everything. We're not going to change shit. Trump is not fucking around, man. People are getting let go left and right. And media folks and libs, get ready. We are in stage 1 of the FAFO agenda, and you're just FOing now. There is a lot more FOing that's going to happen. The FOing hasn't stopped. It's not going to stop. The Trump administration is starting to realize Rock'em Sock'em robots is the only way to go. Did you get a bell in there too? You done? Is that a bell? Is that like when Vince McMahon with the pin for Bret Hart? He's like calling the match they feel bad for Blue Rock'em Sock'em robots lady. Margaret, she is. Anyone? Margaret. There you go. Sorry, Margaret. You got to start getting rid of people. Okay, folks, on a serious note, I've tried to explain this before, but some people aren't understanding this. Donald Trump can issue all the EOs he wants. The left fully understands and learned after 2016 that if you can get people inside the government to read the Donald Trump EO and just pepper their bosses with an endless list of questions about it, it's an Alinsky tactic of stalling and delaying. Nothing is going to happen. There ultimately has to be people on the ground who will implement said policy. Let me just give you an example from just my direct experience because it's what I can speak to directly. Say the Secret Service changes a policy on where people can protest. If you're the site agent on the ground and you spend 6 weeks asking questions, well, what about outside the bike rack, inside the bike rack, in the event outside? They're actually not going to change anything about the protest zone rule because you're not done peppering them with questions. You've got to get rid of people. Here's another one, Susan Crabtree. Exclusive and breaking. Trump administration cleans house at USAID for failing to follow Trump's executive orders. Yes. Oh. People's elbow. Give Justin a shout out too. This is how it goes down. Trump issued an executive order, and he suspected, according to Susan, that people are conspiring to circumvent his EO on halting federal funds to oversee programs and DEI initiatives. Okay. They chose to what? They chose to fuck around. And Donald Trump had them find out. We're not asking. Listen, guys, I don't know what's going to happen in the midterms. I don't know what's going to happen in 4 years. I'm not some Eckhart Tolle guy. However, the now is all that matters. The only power is in now, right? We live in the now. The present is just time flushing over us. We're always living in the present. And right now, we're in charge. So right now, we've got to do shit. And this is how shit gets done. You want to keep messing around, you're going to find out, because Liberation Day is here. And this is what it feels like. I want to give you a quick update, too, on a very important case, because Donald Trump and his team, I know, are demanding answers about this. And this is another reason we cannot let up on Kash Patel. The exact same heat you applied to get Pete Hegseth to be Secretary Hegseth, you have got to get for Kash Patel to be FBI Director Patel. We are never going to get answers about who the January 6th pipe bomber was and the full identity and the full story about how an inside job, what of an inside job this was, if we do not get Kash in. Here's Julie again at Julie_Kelly 2. You should follow her on X. Exclusive. New House of Reps report into unsolved J6 pipe bomb reveals a once vigorous FBI investigation stopped in early 2021, despite initially devoting massive resources into finding the suspect. Now listen to this. Listen to this, Bongino Army. Are we right or are we right? Now agencies are refusing to cooperate with the House inquiry. Folks in the chat, tell me what happened, please? You already know the answer. Why was it a vigorous investigation early on? Because they did not know, not everyone investigating it knew it was an inside job. I'm telling you, I have a federal agent who was there. I have photos to prove it, who was given instructions to go and be involved in this investigation and was, quote, told to stand down just days later once they felt they had some good leads. Because the FBI knows who this person is, and it's an insider. They just don't want you to know who it is because it will blow up the entire January 6th insurrection narrative. You're going to start asking once you find out who really incited this, quote, insurrection. Agencies are refusing to cooperate with the House inquiry. Gee, I wonder why. Listen, what has two thumbs and beats this dumbass news cycle every time? This cat, okay? I'm telling you, this is an inside job. Cash the freaking check and take it to the bank. That's why they don't want you to know who it is. You want to find out? We got to get Cash through. You want it buried forever? Let them bury Cash. Man, that was a fiery open. I can tell because we got 123,000 and we're only 13 minutes in because the Bongino Army, you guys kick ass, man. We're #1 live stream yesterday with 163,000. You guys rock, man. Keep kicking ass and taking names. I'm honored to be a part of this. Freaking great. We're in charge now. We're in charge. Folks, speaking of personnel being policy, immigration, cutesy time is over. Borders shut down. And I'm going to tell you something. We've got an absolutely incredible 1-2 punch of personnel or policy on the border front that are going to change this country moving forward. You change our border and get us back to a public safety, secure border initiative moving forward, the entire country is going to change. Tom Homan and Steve Miller. You want to talk about an incredible 1-2 punch for this FAFO administration? Watch Steve Miller yesterday expose this Bush League media bullshit. They're already trying the narratives. Oh my gosh, some lady was crying because she wasn't allowed in the country illegally. So? Here's Steve Miller and he exposes this reporter's tactic of framing the questions to elicit an emotional response. Folks in the chat, do we care about emotions? No. What do we care about? Fire it up. Who gets it first? What do we care about? I don't care about emotions at all. Who is it? Someone do it. Hell no. Hell no. What do we care about? Who's got it? Oh, man, you guys are quick. Oh, wait, I got one. Billy Beans. Maybe a money ball thing going on there. Says outcomes. You are correct. And what is the outcome we want? We do not want illegal aliens in the country because it's illegal. Here's Steve Miller exposing this hack. This is glorious to watch. This is how you handle left-wing lunatic reporters. Check this out.
There's a report from Chicago that there were ICE agents that were turned away from a Southside elementary school earlier today. Is targeting of schools, targeting of things like this, something that the administration is comfortable with and will continue with?
I think the framing of the question is wrong. If there's a law enforcement activity that's taking place in the school, then that would be for the protection and defense of the child. As you know, there's an epidemic of child trafficking and labor trafficking in this country. When federal law enforcement officers are turned away from a school, it is the act of turning them away that endangers the lives and safety of children. We've seen, as you know, 500,000 children trafficked over a 4-year period in the United States. This administration is going to investigate every instance of child trafficking, labor trafficking, sex trafficking, child smuggling, and all the attendant crimes involved in that. And our message to everyone in the country is to cooperate fully with Immigration and Customs Enforcement so that we can end the scourge of child trafficking and child abuse that has been endemic these last 4 years.
I've got to give a shout out in the chat to Retro Whiskey, who has the line of the day so far in the chat, citing the new viral meme from yesterday from Vice President Vance, which is, I don't really care, Margaret. Don't really care. You want to break the law? Oh, I'm going to hide that. Thank you, Retro Whiskey, kicking ass and taking names. Member of the Bongino Army. Love you guys. I don't really care, Margaret. There's a way to not get locked up outside of a school or a hospital or even, what do you think, you're going to go hide in a school? So just to be clear, you're a criminal in the country illegally, and parents want that person to hide inside their kid's school. If you believe that, you're as crazy as these liberal reporters talking to us, Steve Miller. We don't really care, Margaret. But thanks for asking. People are policy. With people like Steve Miller in there who understand how to enforce the law and deal with left-wing lunatics, we can't lose. Combine that with Tom Homan, who is a gift to America. By the way, this guy is an unbelievably nice guy, a really good and decent human being. But that's not besides the point, because do we care? I care personally, but do we care for public policy? No. What do we care about? Outcomes, results. That's all we care about. Who's getting results? T. Homan. Here's Tom Homan yesterday doing an interview where this is great. The media again tries to frame the question like, oh my gosh, are we going to start deporting people on these deportation flights whose only crime is crossing the border illegally, which is a crime, by the way. And Homan's like, yeah, by the way, there'll be more. He thought he was going to back down. Not only does he not back down, he's like, oh, yeah. And by the way, we're going to open the aperture and it'll be even more. This is how you do it. This is how you rock 'em, sock 'em robots. This is how rock 'em, sock 'em happens. They hit you with something, you hit them with something even worse than when they hit you with, so they don't even know how to respond because they thought you were going to back down. Watch this.
I want to go back to those military flights going south. As you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you're going to see the numbers steadily increase, the number of arrests nationwide as we open up the aperture. Right now it's concentrating public safety threats, national security threats. That's a smaller population. So we're going to do this on priority base, as President Trump's promised, but as that aperture opens, there'll be more arrests nationwide.
I don't even know how to describe the greatness of what you just heard. How with a totally kind of flat affect approach, completely unemotional, Martha Raddatz is expecting him to say, oh, no, we're not going to go after people who broke the law. I mean, unless you're like a rapist or a murderer, because she thinks she's got him in a corner. Homan says the exact opposite, and she has no idea how to respond. Oh, no, once we get the really, really bad people, we're going to go for the bad people, and then we're going to go to people who broke the law and said, you have to go back. You want to come back later? Maybe, but I doubt that too. You already broke the law coming here. She doesn't even know what to do. This is how Rock'em Sock'em works. She don't know what to say because she's so used to people backing down these. I'm not even going to tell you what it rhymes with. And the Republican Party are like, oh my gosh, no, we have to be the party of compassion. Bullshit. We have to be the party of results. That's what the American people voted for. I got another Tom Homan clip coming up next. You may have seen this Selena Gomez, who's an alleged celebrity, crying all over. I don't really care about playing a stupid video. She can cry for whatever she wants. Like I said, all I care about is results. There's an easy way not to cry. Don't break the law. And if you ever see Molly's Game, by the way, one of my favorite movies, Molly's Game, even though it's a bunch of left-wing lunatics, because I love playing cards. Molly's Game, the lawyer tells her, don't break the law while you're breaking the law. Do you know what don't break the law while you're breaking the law in the legal space means? It means if you're going to break the law by crossing the border illegally, it's probably a good idea to not break the law like go commit a crime in a country. I'm just saying, just an idea. Don't break the law while you're breaking the law. Another Homan clip that's a freaking gem coming up next on Selena Gomez. That, hey, should we get all emotional about this? You can get emotional if you want. I care about results. That's it. Hey, the average person's finding it difficult to pay expenses every month, and in most cases, there's nothing left over to cover any extras. Most aren't getting a big raise, expenses are up, and it's hard to manage without grabbing for credit cards. If you're a homeowner and you're frustrated with that debt cycle, I need you to make a 10-minute no-obligation call today to my friends at American Financing. And if you're constantly carrying a credit card balance each and every month with a rate in the 20s or even 30s, American Financing can show you how to put your hard-earned equity to work and get you out of debt. The salary-based mortgage consultants are saving their customers an average of $800 a month. And if you get started today, you may not have to make next month's mortgage payment. How about that? There's no upfront fees, so it costs you nothing to find out how much you can save every month. So call American Financing today. Let me give you the number. 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660. Or you can visit them online. It's a .net address, by the way. AmericanFinancing.net. AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Thank you, American Financing. Check them out. So, but celebrities are crying, Dad. They're crying. We should allow rapists and murderers and terrorists in the country and millions of unvetted people in every single year because a famous singer, allegedly, Selena Gomez, is crying on like TikTok or whatever. I mean, Selena Gomez should run for office on open borders if she like, but she'd rather cry on Twitter. So they asked Tom Homan about this on Fox News, and probably not the answer Selena Gomez was looking for. Check this out.
She posted a video sobbing. She was crying in it. She said, all my people are getting attacked with the picture of a Mexican flag. Again, she has now taken that down. But what do you say to those who are out there saying that these are everyday people, these are families that are being attacked and dragged out of their homes? How do you respond to that?
I don't think we arrested any families. We've arrested public safety threats and national security threats, bottom line. And look, President Trump won the election on this one issue, securing our border and saving lives. What happened on our southern border last 4 years is the biggest national security threat this country's seen, at least in my lifetime, because we got over 2 million known gotaways. We got a 600% increase in sex trafficking. We got a record number of terrorists crossing the border on the terrorist watch list. We have 250,000 Americans dying from fentanyl coming across the open border. We're going to do this job, and we're going to enforce the laws of this country. If they don't like it, then go to Congress and change the law.
That's what she can do. Selena Gomez is more than welcome to run for office. She can stop crying and put up some campaign signs. My guess is she won't. Just wants to cry. She deleted that, I guess? Gee, I wonder why. Wonder why she could have deleted that. Maybe she didn't get the response she was looking for because the American public is sick of bullshit. That's why. And the open border. And they don't want to hear from freaking crying celebrities anymore. If they did, Kamala Harris would have won and she got her ass kicked. Folks, the rock'em sock'em is real, okay? Look, they even got a Trump face on this thing. Well, we kind of threw that in, but whatever. They don't know how to respond, the media. It's coming at them from so many different directions that they have these hour-long shows on CNN and MSNBC. I had a show on Fox, it was an hour. It's really about 42 minutes. And you count the intros and the outs, it's really about 40 minutes. Folks, in 40 minutes, if they've got 40 Donald Trump EOs to talk about, what are you going to do? Give them a minute each? They don't know what to do. I will say this, though. They are trying at least to focus right now, as I said to you yesterday, on two things. Keeping DEI alive and immigration. Yeah, they're spending a lot of time on other things too, but they're trying to focus on immigration. Why? Because, folks, once they lose their demographic destiny, generational war, to pump the country full of illegal immigrants so that they don't lose population in liberal states, lose the House of Representatives and the Electoral College, they talk about it all the time. We've already played the montage. They know it's over for them. So they are spending a lot of time on it, but they're losing. Folks, Donald Trump has done something absolutely incredible on immigration. I will never forget being part of an activist group in D.C. Some of you were in there, and you know the group I'm talking about. Group of real ringers, great guys and ladies in there. We would go in and meet in Washington, D.C. After Romney lost, I will never forget some Hill staffer or whatever coming up there and saying we should never talk about immigration again. The Democrats own this argument. It's over. Donald Trump did something absolutely amazing. Donald Trump not only stole the immigration argument from the left, but he stole it and made it an issue we're now up by 22 points on. Goes to show you that even Republican so-called experts sometimes don't have their finger on the pulse like a business guy like Donald Trump. Here's CNN's Harry Enton. Yes, I said that right. CNN's Harry Enton having to acknowledge the obvious, that Donald Trump did something incredible on immigration, and you're witnessing it in live time. They made it a Republican issue instead of a defensive issue. Check this out.
What am I seeing? I just want to know how different things are from where we were when Donald Trump first took office, and how much more the American people are on the side of Republicans than they were 8 years ago. So trust which party more on immigration. You go back to April of 2017. Look at this. The Democrats held an 11-point advantage over Republicans. So Americans were not liking what Donald Trump and the Republican Party was doing back at the beginning of his first term. Look at where they are now, though. Poll out just in the last week, after Donald Trump took office, which party you trust more in immigration? Look at the margin Republicans are putting up here. A 22-point lead over Democrats. You rarely see issues in which the American people side so much with one party over the other, but on the main issue that Donald Trump has been pumping up and Republicans have been pumping up since the beginning of his term, that began just 1 week ago, Republicans lead overwhelmingly on this.
Folks, it's an opinion show, obviously, the Dan Bongino show. But I'm never going to leave you out there stranded. I'm not going to have you go to your friends and go, hey, Donald Trump took the immigration issue from the Democrats and ran with it. Really? How do you know that? I'm guessing? I'm not guessing. I just cited to you a poll aired by CNN by an actual polling outfit that exists, that's real, a scientific poll or whatever, that shows Donald Trump, even if the margin of error is 5 points, he's still up by 17 on the immigration issue. We took an issue we were always on the defensive with, and Donald Trump made it a Republican asset. He is the first president to do that in our time. Not Reagan, not George H.W., not W., certainly not Gerald Ford, Nixon, no one. He made it a Republican issue. Folks, the man's got political skills. You don't have to like him. Nobody cares. The numbers matter. My opinion's great. I hope you're here for it. The bottom line is I just backed it up with data showing you even if the margin of error is double, We're still up by 10 points on immigration because of Donald Trump. Folks, Secretary Hegseth's not effing around either. He got right to work yesterday. The other thing they're trying to prioritize is preserving DEI. Because if merit starts to embed itself in our prior capitalist economy, which Biden tried to destroy, the left's battle plan is finished. Quick break, right back to that. Like I said, Secretary Hegseth's going right for it. Hey, what does it feel like? Why does it feel like losing weight's harder than ever? All the misinformation out there, the fad diets, the magic pills, the quick fix-it injections, they end up doing more harm than good. But here's the thing, it's not your fault. Your body could be working against you, and the longer you wait, the harder it gets to turn things around. That's why I don't want you to wait another second. Take advantage of the exclusive Bongino listeners only offer. Call PhD Weight Loss at 864-644-1900 to talk to a specialist today. Jim used this program. Producer Jim lost a lot of weight. Dr. Ashley Lucas and her team at PhD Weight Loss are leaders in helping people like you lose weight and finally break free from the cycle of up and down dieting. Do what producer Jim did. Get the help with PhD Weight Loss. They provided to him, and you can call them now. You get a free consultation and 2 free additional weeks of the program, including meals. But you need to act now. It's just a simple phone call. Call now, 864-644-1900, and schedule today, or visit them at myphdweightloss.com. myphdweightloss.com. Weight loss results vary per individual. Consult with a medical professional. Thank you, PhD Weight Loss. And you know my buddies. Today brought to you by Blackout Coffee. Have yourself a cup. Enjoy it. This is cup number 3. Be awake, not woke. Folks, they have the most delicious coffee flavors. Their original is amazing. Their cinnamon French toast is amazing. The blueberry crumble, the dark chocolate. The coffee is a bold, big, bold coffee taste, never bitter. I love my coffee, sometimes black. Sometimes I like a little bit of milk in it. Sometimes I have a little milk in it, some vanilla flavored protein in it. I love my coffee, but I want premium grain beans. I don't want to just drink this crap coffee, okay? So I'm proud to recommend the official coffee, the Bongino Army Blackout Coffee. Skip the long lines at the store, order online. Folks at Blackout Coffee ship within 48 hours of roasting. It's incredible. Do me a favor. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino and see what I'm talking about. They're the real deal. Stop drinking that woke corporate drunk coffee. Blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino is for you. Use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. That's blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Check it out. It's pretty awesome stuff. We absolutely love it. Blackout Coffee, official coffee of the Bongino Army. Here's what I'm talking about. Secretary Hegseth, this is why they fought so hard against him, and moving forward, why they are going to fight against Kash Patel. We have to marshal the forces. Anita, Speak the Truth, the McGroin crew, the P1 radio listener crew. I need you all to get together and start right now emailing and calling respectfully, please, because or else it's counterproductive. I know you know that. I'm not your dad. I'm not your preacher. Please get an email, not a form email. Form emails are bullshit. And just say, I would like to know where you are on Kash Patel. We strongly support him for FBI reform. Something very simple. Please, I need you to do this. You want to reform the government, then we have to partake in it. We can't just be observers. We have to be in the boxing ring fighting, not watching the match. Here's what happens when you get a guy in there. Secretary Hegseth's first ceremonial walk into the Pentagon as the Secretary of Defense. This is the FO portion of the FAFO agenda. Check this out.
And as the Secretary of Defense, it's an honor to salute smartly, as I did as a junior officer and now as the Secretary of Defense, to ensure these orders are complied with rapidly and quickly. Every moment that I'm here, I'm thinking about the guys and gals in Guam, in Germany, in Fort Benning and Fort Bragg, on missile defense sites and aircraft carriers. Our job is lethality and readiness and warfighting. We're going to hold people accountable. I know the chairman agrees with that. The lawful orders of the President of the United States will be executed inside this Defense Department swiftly and without excuse. We will be no better friend to our allies and no stronger adversary to those who want to test us and try us. So, Mr. Chairman, thanks for welcoming me today. I look forward to serving the troops, the warriors of this department. It's the honor of a lifetime, and we're going to get to work. God bless you all.
You see what happens with Liberation Day? See what happens when this Bongino Army decides we're going to get something done and not just talk about getting something done? These orders will be executed swiftly and effectively. And I noticed Renegade X117 and Nero Bastiat. I like that. You both picked up on something. Some of you may have picked up on as well. Secretary Hegseth referred to these military facilities by their proper names, Fort Bragg and Fort Benning, because that's what they are. Not their names like Fort Peace, Love, and Happiness. I'm not even going to mention it. Fort Liberty, but that's not the name. That's not the name. It's Fort Bragg, and it's Fort Benning. That wasn't an accident, by the way. Secretary Hegseth is a very, very, very smart guy. That was not an accident. This is a section can we get a little liner for this? Can we put something together? Can we get a so much winning alert thing? Ladies and gentlemen, again, this is the so much winning, like rock'em sock'em part of the show again. Started out with it. I can't get over how much winning. There's so much winning happening. Like, people, are you tired of the winning? Are you shitting me? Am I tired of winning? We are just stage 1 of FAFO. How many stages are there? I don't know, bro. I don't. Wait, yeah. This is why Michael's a math major. He's kind of funny sometimes, too. I just asked the question, how dumb? How stupid? If the agenda is FAFO, and I'm asking you how many stages of FAFO, Michael's like, did you not pay attention to the find out? You're going to find out. There could be 72 stages of FO. There could be 7,200. I'm not tired. I'm not tired. Keep it coming, man. I am an endless spool of energy. I was sick last week. Don't give a shit. Well, I was on a plane, did a show from a plane. Don't care. We will keep going on this podcast no matter what. So I'm going to give you a little more winning alert. Eric Daughtry, breaking yesterday, U.S. health officials ordered by the Trump administration to stop working with the dreadful communist World Health Organization immediately. Remember the ones who tried to hide the COVID thing? How many times we got to... This guy's poor guy, man. Poor rock. This red guy. And he's like, Dan, can I have a break? You can't. You cannot have a break on this show. I'm sorry. I'm tired of the... I'm not tired. You're not tired of the winning. I'm not tired of winning. Here's another one. Epic Times. Trump signs executive orders restricting transgender troops, ending military DEI practices. Glorious. Whoa. Oh. Karate Man's easier when your lungs aren't infected with the deadly postulatums that I have been from the deadly bioweapon sprayed on all of us at the inauguration. By the way, poor Justin came down with the inauguration. He wasn't even at the inauguration. Guy has some ridiculous X-Men-like Wolverine immune system. Justin says it's only his left nostril. I don't know how that is. They're all like, it goes all connected up there, but whatever. The winning continues. You want to be out of action for 12 months because you want to cut body parts of it? You do you. But you don't get to take up military time and services doing it because there's an opportunity cost there, and you're not lethal if you're in the recovery room. Okay? Thank you. Period. Have a nice day. The DEI stuff you heard about from Pete. Here's another just absolute gem. Fox News. Are we tired of the winning? The answer is hell to the... No, we're not tired of winning. We are not tired of the winning. Not stopping. DOJ fires more than a dozen key officials on former special counsel, I'd say special tyrant, Jack Smith's team. That's glorious. You thought you had a job. You were going to sit there, weaponize the federal government, and get taxpayer dollars? Nah, don't think so, kids. Sorry. Matter of fact, the winning gets even better. I love this guy, by the way. I don't know if you know this guy, Ed Martin. He is the interim United States attorney for Washington, D.C. What did he do? Imagine how much it pained the Washington Post to write this headline. He launches a probe of the January 6th prosecutions. Talk about flipping the script. You want to weaponize government? We'll see. Ladies and gentlemen, I guess we will find out, as Michael said, how many stages of this FAFO agenda. Red Rocker, by the way. Donald Trump has side control right now for you Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys. If you see that, Michael, you know side control? He's not, maybe I would do the knee on belly, but the knees don't bend. So, but he's definitely dominating in side control right now. He's doing the elbow shiver in the neck too, which is that really hurts. That's like considered cheap. Here's another one. Hat tip Maze Moore on this one. Great account to follow on X, MAZEMOORE. Fantastic follow. Got to give shout outs to people, folks. We're not the only ones out there. And a lot of people steal Maze Moore's content. It is not right. I see it on Twitter and X all the time. It's their account over there. Should cite it. But it's just interesting now, all of a sudden, that Ed Martin's going to be looking into the prosecutions and the weaponization of government during January 6th, how the Democrat story is now changing. And there is no better example of a fraud on weaponized government than Adam Schiff. Watch this about 30 seconds, and you'll see what I mean. Again, hat tip Maze Moore. Check this out.
On the day Donald Trump leaves office, the Justice Department may indict him.
Very strongly in favor of indicting the president when he is out of office.
I don't think the incoming president should be threatening his political opponents with jail time. That's not the kind of talk we should hear from a president in a democracy.
This is why you ignore left-wing and media imbecile commentary on all this stuff. They are frauds, phonies. They have zero credibility. You do exactly what Homan did at the beginning of the show on that interview. You guys are going to deport people for breaking the law? Yeah, it's actually more than you think. Actually, even more people. That is how you handle this. More. Kylo Ren Moore style. We get a lot of play with that on X. People love the Kylo Ren Moore. They love it. Because Liberation Day has arrived, folks. Rock this shirt everywhere. It'll piss off your liberal friends if you have any left. Do me a favor. How many of you people in the chat, you Bongino Army members out there, how many people go to the gym? The gym is the best place to wear this because liberals, you won't usually see a lot of liberals in the gym because they're not into work and stuff like that. But they are allergic to the gym and lifting weights and everything like that. But you will see a few. But the good thing is you'll have a lot of backup because even in liberal cities, like 60% of the crowd will be people at least leaning a little conservative. Liberation Day, it has arrived. Store.bongino.com. What? Oh, yeah, look at that. You can move the Chiron up like that? Look at you guys. Nice. This was my idea, by the way. I just want to say, Paula had 90% of the ideas are Paula. She'll probably hate me for saying this. I love her to death. But they're like, you know what? We got to do another shirt. We got to celebrate the election. But I don't like to just randomly throw shirts out. When Donald Trump said we're going to declare this Liberation Day, I said, that's it. That's it. All right. Cutesy time's over. I got to talk to you about something serious here, right? Justin's like, what? You know, I spoke about my weekend update yesterday, which I do on Monday. Some guy got all pissy with me, by the way. Sent me like this Facebook thing like, Dan, I'm like 5 minutes in and you told us about a weekend. It's the freaking Dan Bongino show. I spend 5 minutes on Monday talking about things I think are interesting. And then all week we talk for 4 hours between radio and podcast about every single how many political issues we get to already today? Polling, FAFO, Miller, Holman, Julie Kelly, January 6th, USAID, Pete Hegseth, WHO. We cover the issues. I want you to know who I am. We spend 20 hours a week here together, okay? So if you don't like it, I'm sorry. It's an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Find a different show where they just read headlines. That's on me, okay? He's right. No, it definitely was a Vols fan. Definitely. He didn't like the game this way. That's okay. We love our Tennessee crew, but that guy clearly didn't like the show. But I was down in Auburn this weekend, or I live in Florida, but we all know like South Florida is not the most southern place on planet Earth. It's northern Florida is. But folks, I really love the South. And you guys and ladies out there, I'm really envious of everything you're about. Your emphasis on faith, on family, on community. It is complex in its simplicity. Does that make sense? And I'm not trying to write bullshit poetry or sound overly verbose. It's elegant in its simplicity. I'm really envious of you all. I have a point to this, though. It's not just to reminisce about my weekend that I spent in Auburn and how lovely the people were to me and how I just feel like it's become just this adopted home. By the way, if you're not considering sending your kid to Auburn University or, Alabama or another place like that, then you're making a huge mistake. Auburn is a magical place, and your kid should be visiting there. They respect free speech. They love God down there. I give a speech down there. There's not a single protester that shows up. Not one. It's a packed house. Not one. But whereas this Queens-born Yankee can tell you that, these media people hate you. They do. And it's really disgusting to watch. They think because you speak with a Southern accent that somehow you're stupid, you're backwards. They do. They don't understand how deep and complex you really are. Let me tell you something. When the shit hits the fan, I want a Southerner with me next to me. I don't want one of these media losers. Did you see this clip from Margaret, the new Karen Brennan, and J.D. Vance? I didn't play this one yesterday. I want you to listen and watch the disdain in her voice and the look in her face as she talks about people from Mississippi, Kentucky, Alabama. She talks about you like, you guys need FEMA. You're just too stupid to figure this out on your own. You doubt me? Watch this yourself. Check it out.
FEMA has specialized expertise that some of these states just don't have.
Margaret,
in their arsenal. And
I wish
how
that they...
will states who are lower income states, the Mississippis, the Kentuckys, the Alabamas, be able to do this for themselves without federal help?
Well, the president, to be clear, is not saying we're going to leave anybody behind. He's saying that in the way that we administer these resources, some of which is coming from the federal level, some of which is coming from the state level, we've got to get the bureaucrats out of the way and get the aid to the people who need it most.
But these are the...
You believe that shit? You really believe that these strong Southern families that have relied on God, community, church, and you really believe in an emergency? They're calling up D.C. looking for some obese, overweight D.C. bureaucrat to come down and save them? You sure about that, Margaret? And by the way, this isn't a geography thing. I'm going to be candid with you. It's not about the South. Because we have people in the Midwest and all over the country. We have people in upstate New York and farms like this. It is not about the South. It's just that the South can be very self-reliant. This is a battle against self-reliance. It has everything to do with the war on the Second Amendment and everything. The left doesn't care about guns. They have their own bodyguards with guns. They don't. They pretend to. They don't want you to have a gun because they want you relying on the government for everything, including your protection. The left hates self-reliance because you cannot institute a system of collectivism and communism if people like people in the South and the Midwest are not dependent on the government. But I want you to watch these two videos, and I want to ask you a very simple question. If an emergency hits the fan, do you want a FEMA rep showing up? Or do you want, this kid's from Indiana, but it doesn't matter. Or do you want the John Deere kid showing up? You know who this kid is? If you haven't seen, I'll take this kid any day over some monstrosity bureaucrat from Washington, D.C. Watch this.
Operated a backhoe before? Oh, it was like an actual backhoe, like the one over there, but it was a cat. It ran pretty nice. Is that a bit bigger one? Is that a bit bigger? Is that the same size?
That's a 4075 back there.
So that's 75 horse?
75 horse. That's a new model. Just come out with back in the fall.
Oh, that'd be a nice machine to have. 75
yeah, it's got
horse.
a nice price tag on it too. Somewhere around 50,000.
Boom! Well, throw me out of the seat. I like that it's got stabilizers, so if you're digging something really hard, you don't tip one way.
I love this young man. Young man. God bless you, John Deere kid. I want that kid showing up. I don't want no FEMA person there. You see why in the South and the Midwest they hate you? You think that kid's dependent on a government handout? You think that kid's looking for FEMA when an emergency hits? He's pulling up in his John Deere tractor. How old is that? I don't even know how old that young man is. 9? 10? He'll figure it out himself. That's why liberals hate that kid. This is who the liberals want showing up in an emergency. You see this picture from last week? They want David Muir, the ABC News guy, with the fire jacket with the clothespin so he looks nice and tailored on TV. That's who they want showing up. I'll take the John Deere kid any day of the week and 7 times on Sunday. You want media people and liberals showing up in an emergency? Folks, media people can't even do freaking journalism. And I can't think of a better time to highlight their malfeasance. Because this reporter who called me the other day, he asked me, Dan, you've been doing this now for 10 years. The podcast was started in 2015, so it's our 10-year anniversary. It actually is in like February, I think. We should do a big thing for that. It's February is our actual 10-year anniversary. He said, what stories resonate the most? Tell me if I'm wrong. I said, you know what my audience loves the most? When we expose you media buffoons. And he laughed. I said, no, I'm not kidding. There's no better time than now. The media criticizing you folks in the South, rock stars, God-fearing parents, moms and dads, than to play this little montage. Maybe the media should stay out of emergency planning, government spending, and everything else, and actually try to do journalism first. Here's the media about their predictions about elections. You can see how right they always are. Check this out.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it.
All right.
I think if he becomes the president here, make it great, because the States is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
On that note, Tom, pleasure.
Take it
Thank
from
you
me.
very much.
How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look at me. Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of your mind or brain can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit. I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket.
Next, I know you don't believe that, but I want to go on to Matthew Dowd.
Sorry to laugh.
Next.
Just a suggestion to the media folks out there. If you don't want to be a laughingstock, then stop making yourself a laughingstock. I saw the hapless Chris Cillizza today put out on Twitter that he can't believe he was so misled and that Donald Trump was right about the lab leak and Fauci was wrong. Chris Cillizza, the same guy who in the infamous Washington Post headline with Aaron Blake from back in 2016 during the election wrote, Donald Trump's chances of winning are approaching 0. Why is the Dan Bongino Show the #1 live stream in America pretty much every day? Ladies and gentlemen, the formula is not complicated. Keep people entertained, keep them educated on the issues, keep the information flowing, and don't bullshit them. It's really not hard. Why are people tuning out of the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, Chris Cillizza, MSNBC, and others? Because they're tired of your bullshit. You can't lie to all the people all the time. Want to see another story we're out ahead of? We've been out ahead of for years. When I say we, I mean the entire Republican movement, not specifically me. The whole climate change thing. There's a great article by Barton Swaim in the Wall Street Journal. Why climate change ideology is dying. Folks, it's pretty simple. Just like I told you, why do people tune into the Dan Bongino Show? Because we tell you the truth. Why is climate ideology dying? Because no one actually believes it. You know, it's why aren't the moguls and executives who claim to be unnerved by climate science giving up their carbon-heavy lifestyles and living in caves or living in simpler dwellings and mansions? If these progressive VIPs in media, politics, and entertainment believe sea levels are ready to rise, why do they keep buying properties in Martha's Vineyard, Bar Harbor, Provincetown, Santa Monica, and Malibu? because they don't believe any of this shit. That's why. Folks, they're lying to you. And it's up to us to expose them. Now, the media guy who asked me a question about what stories resonate with my audience, and I told him largely stories about how awful the media are, I think he was a little confused as to why. And one of the reasons is I don't think they're used to being held to their own standard. So the fact that I take Alinsky's rules, notably Alinsky rule number 4, and I make the media live up to its own standards, if you're going to call us out for misinformation and disinformation when we're right, we're going to call you out and hold you to that standard when you're not right, which is often. What's Saul Alinsky's rule number 4? I suggest you memorize it. Make the enemy live up to its own book of rules. The rule is every letter gets a reply, send 30,000 letters. You can kill them with this because no one can possibly obey all of their own rules. Media people want to talk about climate change. We're going to lose our coastline. Why do you live there? Because you really don't believe it. The media wants to talk about misinformation. Why do you keep bullshitting people? We'd like to know. Make them live up to their own rules because they can't and they won't. Man, what a show. What do you got, 154,000 today? Thank you, Anita, for putting it up in the chat. You know, we do the radio show here on Rumble, the first 2 hours. Some folks have asked me, how do you get the third hour? You become a subscriber. You can see it right at the top of our page right there. You can get all 3 hours of the radio show, plus I do some additional content. We will be transitioning locals into Rumble Premium, so you'll get a lot of things if you become a Rumble Premium member with our new link there. You'll be getting some additional content I put out there. You'll be getting the 3 hours of the radio show out there. And also you will be getting at least Rumble programmatic ads. You won't get them in the show. You just have obviously the live reads. So it's a great package. So Rumble Premium, the way to rock and roll. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Please download the Rumble app. It is free. Join us every day at 11 a.m. Eastern time for the show live, or you can watch video on demand anytime. All we ask is you give us a follow while you're there. And please, if you can help blow us up on Apple and Spotify too, we'd appreciate it. Apple Podcasts. Look for the Dan Bongino Show. Give us a follow. Spotify as well. The Dan Bongino Show. It helps us stay on the charts. We deeply appreciate it. See you here for the radio show in just a few minutes on Rumble. And I'm back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. See you then.
You just heard the Dan Bongino Show.